Shri Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 33 Greatness of Udi. Scorpion sting and plague cases cured, Jamner miracle, Narayan Rao sickness, Balabua Sutar, Appasaheb Kulkarni, Haribhau Karnik. In the last chapter, we described the greatness of the Guru. Now, in this, we will describe the greatness of Udi. Preliminary. Let us bow now before the great saints. Their merciful glances will destroy mountains of sins and do away with all the evil taints of our character. Their casual talk gives us good teachings and confers on us imperishable happiness. Their minds do not know any difference, such as this is ours, that is yours. Such a differentiation never arises in their mind. Their debts, obligations will never be repaid by us in this birth as well as in many future births. Udi. It is well known that Baba took dakshina from all, and out of the amount thus collected, he spent a lot on charity and purchased fuel with a balance left with him. This fuel he used to put it in a duni, the sacred fire, which he kept ever burning. The ash from this fire was called Udi, and it was freely distributed to the devotees at the time of their departure from Shirdi. What did Baba teach or hint by this Udi? Baba taught by this Udi that all the visible phenomena in this universe are as transient as ash. Our body is composed of wood or matter of the five elements, which will fall down after all their enjoyments are over and be reduced to ashes. In order to remind the devotees of the fact that their bodies will be reduced to ashes, Baba distributed Udi to them. Baba also taught by the Udi that the Brahman is the only reality and the universe is ephemeral, that no one in this world, be a son, father, or wife, is really ours. We come here in this world alone and we have to go out alone. It was found and is even now found out that the Udi cured many physical and mental maladies. But Baba wanted to din into the devotees' ears the principle of discrimination between the unreal and the real, non attachment for the unreal by his Udi and Dakshina. The former Udi taught us the discrimination, and the later Dakshina taught us non attachment. Unless we have these two things, it is not possible for us to cross over the sea of mundane existence. So Baba asked for and took dakshina, and while the devotees took leave, he gave Udi as prasad, besmeared some of it on the bhakta's forehead, and placed his boon conferring hand on their heads. When Baba was in cheerful mood, he used to sing merrily. One such a song was about Udi was like this: O playful Rama, come, come and bring with you sacks of Udi. Baba used to sing in very clear and sweet tones. So much about the spiritual implication of Udi. It had also its material significance. It conferred health, prosperity, freedom from anxiety, and many other worldly gains. So, the Udi has helped us to gain both our ends, material as well as spiritual. We shall now begin with the stories about Udi. Scorpion Sting. Narayan Motiram Jani of Nasik was a devotee of Baba. He was serving under another devotee of Baba by name Ramchandra Vaman Modak. Once he went to Shirdi with his mother and saw Baba. Then Baba himself told her that her son should serve no more but start independent business. Some days later, this prophecy turned true. Narayan Jani left service and started a boarding house, Anandashram, which thrived well. Once a friend of this Narayan Rao was stung by a scorpion, and the pain caused by it was severe and unbearable. Udi is most efficacious in such cases. It is to be applied on the seat of pain, and so Narayan Rao searched for it but found none. Then he stood before Baba's picture and invoked Baba's aid, chanted Baba's name, and taking out a pinch of ashes of the joss stick burning in front of Baba's picture and taking it to be Baba's Udi, applied it on the seat of pain and the sting. As soon as he took out his fingers, the pain vanished, and both the person were moved and felt delighted. Bubonic plague case. Once a devotee in Bandra came to know that his daughter, who was staying in another place, was down with bubonic plague. He had no Udi with him, so he sent a word to Nana Sahib Chandorkar to send the same. Nana Sahib got this message on the road near the Thana railway station when he was travelling with his wife to Kalyan. He had no Udi with him at that time. He therefore took some dust from the road, meditated upon Sai Baba, invoked his aid, and applied it on the forehead of his wife. The devotee saw all this, and when he went to his daughter's house, he was very glad to learn that his daughter, who was suffering from 3 days, began to improve from the very moment Nana Sahib invoked Baba's aid near the Thana railway station. The Jamner miracle. It's about 1904 and 5. Nana Sahib Chandorkar was a Mamledar at Jamner in the Khandesh district, which is more than 100 miles distant from Shirdi. His daughter Mainatai was pregnant and was about to deliver. Her case was very serious and she was suffering from labor pains for the last 2 or 3 days. Nana Sahib tried all remedies, but they proved in vain. He then remembered Baba and invoked his aid. There in Shirdi, one Ramgir Bova, whom Baba called Bapugir Bova, wanted at this time to go to his native place in Khandesh. Baba called him and told him to take little rest and stop at Jamner on his way home and give the Udi and Aarti to Nana Sahib. Ramgir Bova said that he had only 2 rupees with him and that amount was barely sufficient for the railway fare up to Jalgaon, and it was not possible for him to go from Jalgaon to Jamner, a distance of about 30 miles. Baba assured him that he need not to be worried, as everything would be provided for him. Then Baba asked Shama to write a well-known Aarti composed by Madhav Adkar and give a copy of it with Udi to Ramgir Bua, which is to be delivered to Nana Sahib. Then, relying on Baba's word, Ramgir Bua left Shirdi and reached Jalgaon at about 2:45 am. He had only 2 annas left with him and was in hard plight. To his great relief, he heard somebody calling out, "Who is Bapugir Bua of Shirdi?" He went to him and told him that he was a person, Bapugir Bua. Then the peon, professing to be sent by Nana Sahib, took him out to an excellent tonga with a good pair of horses. They both drove in it. The tonga ran very fast, and early in the morning they came to a brooklet. The drive took the horses for watering them, and a peon asked Ramgir Bua to partake of some eatables. On seeing the beard, moustache, and the livery of the peon, Ramgir Bua suspected him to be a Muslim and was unwilling to take any refreshment from him. But the peon satisfied him by saying that he was a Hindu, a Kshatriya of Garhwal, and that Nana Sahib had sent this refreshment. So there should not be any difficulty nor any doubt about acceptance. Then both of them took the refreshment and started again. They reached Jamner. At dawn, Ramgir Bua alighted to attend a call of nature and returned within a few minutes, but found that there was no tonga, no driver, and no peon. He was dumbfounded. Then he went to a neighboring kacheri and, making inquiries, learned that the Mamledar was at home. He went to Nana Sahib's house, announced himself, and gave Baba's Udi and Aarti to Nana Sahib. At this time, Mainatai case was in the most serious condition, and all were in deep anxiety about her. Nana Sahib called out his wife and asked her to give Udi mixed with water to their daughter to drink and sing Baba's Arti. He thought that Baba's help was most opportune. In a few minutes came a news that the delivery was safe and that the crisis had passed away. When Ramgir Buwa thanked Nana Sahib for the peon, tanga, and the refreshment, etc., the latter was greatly surprised, as he had sent no one to the station and was not aware of any person coming from Shirdi. Once Mr. B.V. Dev of Thana, retired Mamledar, made enquiries about this matter with Bapu Rao Chandorkar, son of Nana Sahib, and also inquired with Ramgir Bua of Shirdi, and after satisfying himself wrote an elaborate article, part prose and part poetry, in Shri Sai Leela magazine. B.V. Narasimhaswamy has also taken down this statement of Mainatai, Bapu Sahib Chandorkar, and Ramgir Bua and published them in his Devotees' Experiences. The following is quoted from Ramgir Bua's statement. One day Baba called me to him and gave me a packet of Udi and a copy of Baba's Arti. I had to go to Khandesh at that time. Baba directed me to go to Jamner and told me to deliver the Arti and Udi to Nana Sahib Chandorkar at Jamner. I said to Baba that all I had was 2 rupees and asked him how that could take me by train from Kopargaon to Jalgaon and next by cart from Jalgaon to Jamner. Baba said, God will give. That was Friday and I started at once. I reached Manmad at 7:30 p.m. and Jalgaon at 2:45 a.m. At that time, plague regulations were enforced and I had much trouble. I was to discover what I should do to get to Jamner. At about 3 a.m., a peon in boots, turban, and well equipped with other details of good dress came to me and took me to Tonga and drove me on. I was in terror. On the way at Bhagur, I took refreshments. We reached Jamner early in the morning, and by the time I attended my call of nature, the Tonga and its driver had disappeared. Narayan Rao, Bhakt Narayan Rao, had a good fortune to see Baba twice during the latter's lifetime. 3 years after the passing away of Baba in 1918, he wanted to come to Shirdi, but he could not come. Within a year of Baba's Mahasamadhi, he fell sick and suffered much. All ordinary remedies gave him no relief. So he meditated on Baba day and night. One night he had a vision in his dream. Baba coming to him through a cellar confronted him saying, Don't be anxious. You will be improving from tomorrow, and within a week you will be on your legs. Narayan Rao got perfectly well within the time mentioned in the vision. Now, the point for consideration is this: was Baba living because he had the body? And was he dead because he left it? No, Baba is ever alive, for he transcends both life and death. He who loved him once wholeheartedly gets response from him at any time and at any place. He is always by our side and will take any form and appear before the devout bhakta and satisfy him. Appasaheb Kulkarni. In 1917, the chance of one Appasaheb Kulkarni came. He was transferred to Thana and began to worship Baba's picture presented to him by Balasaheb Bhate. In real earnest, he did the worship. He offered flowers, sandal paste, and Naivedya daily to Baba in the picture and longed intently to see him. In this connection, it may be remarked that Seeing Baba's picture honestly is equivalent to see him in person. The following story illustrates this statement. Balabua Sutar. A saint of Bombay named Balabua Sutar, who, on account of his piety, devotion, and bhajan, was called Modern Tukaram, came to Shirdi for the first time in 1917. When he bowed before Baba, the latter said, I know this man since 4 years. Balabua wondered and thought, how could that be, as that was his first trip to Shirdi. But thinking about it seriously, he recollected that he had prostrated himself 4 years ago before Baba's portrait at Bombay and was convinced about the significance of Baba's words. He said to himself that how omniscient and all pervading are the saints, and how kind are they to their bhaktas. I merely bowed to his photo, in fact, was noticed by Baba, and in due time he made me realize that seeing his photo is equivalent to seeing him in person. Appasaheb Kulkarni. To return to Appasaheb's story, while he was in Thana, he had to go on tour to Bhiwandi and was not expected to return within a week. In his absence, the following wonderful thing took place on the third day. At noon, a fakir turned up at Appasaheb's house. His features resembled exactly those of Baba's photo. Mrs. Kulkarni and the children all asked him whether he was a Sai Baba of Shirdi. He said no, but that he was an obedient servant of his and came there at his order to inquire after the health of the family. Then he asked for dakshina. The lady gave him a rupee. He gave her a small packet of Udi and asked her to keep this in the shrine along with a photo for worship. Then he left the house and went away. Now hear the wonderful Leela of Sai. Appasaheb could not proceed with his tour as his horse fell sick at Bhiwandi. He returned home that afternoon and learned from his wife about the fakir's visit. He smarted in his mind as he did not get the darshan of fakir, and he did not like that only 1 rupee was paid as dakshina. He said that had he been present, he would have offered not less than 10 rupees. Then he immediately started in quest of Fakir and searched for him in masjid and other places without taking any food. His search was in vain. He then returned home and took his food. The reader may remember here Baba's dictum in chapter 32 that God's quest should not be made on an empty belly. Appasaheb got a lesson here about this. Then, after meals, he went out for a walk with his friend Mr. Chitre. Going some distance, then he saw a man approaching them rapidly. Appasaheb thought that he must be the fakir that came to his house at noon, as his features tallied with those of Baba in the photo. The fakir immediately put forth his hand and asked for dakshina. Appasaheb gave him a rupee. He demanded again and again, so Appasaheb gave him 2 more. Still he was not satisfied. Then he borrowed 3 rupees from Mr. Chitre and gave them to him. He wanted still more. Appasaheb asked him to accompany him to his home. Then they all returned home and Appasaheb gave him again 3 rupees, in all 9. He looked unsatisfied and demanded again. Then he told him that he had a currency of 10 rupees. The fakir asked for the same and took it and returned the 9 rupees in cash and went away. Appasaheb had said that he would pay 10 rupees and that sum was taken from him and 9 rupees consecrated by Baba's touch were returned to him. The figure 9 is significant. It denotes the 9 type of devotion. It may also be noted here that Baba gave 9 rupees to one Lakshmi Bai Shinde at his last moment. Appasaheb examined the Udi packet and found it contained some flower petals and akshata. Then, sometime afterwards, he got hair from Baba when he saw him at Shirdi. He put the Udi packet and the hair in the tabis and always wore it on his arm. Appa Sahib realized the power of Udi. Though he was very clever, he got 40 rupees as his pay in the beginning. But after he secured Baba's photo and his Udi, he got many times more and also got much power and influence. And along with this temporal benefit, his spiritual progress was also rapid. So, those who are fortunate enough to get Baba's Udi should apply it after the bath on the forehead and take some little of it mixed with water in the mouth as holy tirth. Haribhau Karnik. In 1917, Haribhau Karnik of Dahanu, Thana district, came to Shirdi on the Guru Purnima day and worshipped Baba with all formality. He offered clothes and dakshina, and after taking Baba's leave, got down the steps of the masjid. Then he thought that he should offer one more rupee to Baba and was just turning to get up when Shama informed him by signs that as he had got Baba's leave, he should go and not return. So he started home. On his way, when he went into the temple of Kala Rama at Nasik for the darshan, the Saint Narsingh Maharaj, who used to sit just inside the big door of the temple, left his bhaktas there, came to Haribau, caught his wrist and said, "Give me my 1 rupee." Karnik was surprised. He paid the rupee most willingly and thought that Sai Baba recovered a rupee which he intended in his mind to give through Saint Narsingh Maharaj. This story illustrates the fact that all saints are one and shows how they work in unison. Bow to Shri Sai, peace to be all. Shri Sai Pranam.